Did you know regenerative farming small scale holds tons of potential for small farmers and backyard farmers? More than just a trend, regenerative practices on a small scale are a transformative way of raising animals or growing food that can benefit both the environment and people. While large-scale regenerative farming operations are often highlighted, it's important to recognize that regenerative practices can be implemented on small-scale farms as well. In this video, we will explore the concept of regenerative farming small scale and what that actually means in practice. Let's get into it. Rotational grazing with small-scale animals. A core component of regenerative farming small scale is to rotational graze. It is more than just a method of feeding animals. It's a powerful regenerative practice that can transform small-scale farming systems. By implementing rotational grazing with small-scale animals, such as a small herd of cows or a flock of poultry, farmers can maximize the use of available pastureland, promote soil health, and improve overall farm productivity. Rotational grazing means moving animals from one section of pasture to the next. When you prevent animals from constant grazing, the soil is given time to rest and forage and grow back while they graze in a different area. The result is more efficient forage utilization, reduced soil erosion, and increased biodiversity. In regenerative farming small-scale scenarios, many people tend to dismiss rotational grazing due to space, but don't skip this step. This may hold the biggest potential to improve the soil on this list. Harnessing the power of cover crops. Cover crops play a crucial role in regenerative farming small scale by enhancing soil health, preventing erosion, and providing additional forage options for animals, even on a small scale. Integrating cover crops into your regenerative farming small scale system can yield numerous benefits. When you select cover crops, you can improve the soil by finding crops that will provide solutions that your soil is deficient in. For example, nitrogen-fixing cover crops are frequently used to add nitrogen to the soil. Nitrogen is an essential nutrient for plant growth, and it is often a limiting factor in agricultural systems. By incorporating nitrogen-fixing cover crops into their farming practices, farmers can reduce their reliance on synthetic fertilizers, which can be costly and have environmental impacts. These cover crops have a symbiotic relationship with certain bacteria called rhizobia, which reside in nodules on their roots. The bacteria convert atmospheric nitrogen into a usable form that plants can absorb, effectively fixing nitrogen in the soil. Some examples of nitrogen-fixing cover crops are red clover, alfalfa, legumes, and cowpeas. By planting a diverse range of cover crops, such as legumes, grasses, and brassicas, during the off-season or in areas not designated for animal grazing, you can improve soil structure, increase organic matter content, fix nitrogen naturally, and suppress weed growth. These cover crops also offer additional forage options for your small-scale animals when incorporated into the rotational grazing system. This synergistic relationship between cover crops and animals helps create a self-sustaining and regenerative farming cycle. The magic of compost and worm tea. Composting is an integral part of regenerative farming small scale, regardless of the farm size. Compost is nature's way of recycling organic matter and returning vital nutrients to the soil. Small-scale farmers can harness the power of compost in their regenerative farming small-scale practices by collecting animal manure, bedding, and kitchen scraps to create nutrient-rich compost. This compost can then be applied to the fields, providing a natural and sustainable source of fertility for both cover crops and grazing pastures. Compost and worm tea are both rich in organic matter and nutrients. When added to the soil, they provide a slow-release source of nutrients, including nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, as well as micronutrients essential for plant growth. Compost and worm tea contribute to improving soil structure by enhancing soil aggregation and water holding capacity. They promote the development of soil aggregates, which create pore spaces for better aeration, root penetration, and water movement. Improved soil structure allows plant roots to access nutrients and moisture more efficiently, leading to healthier and more resilient plants. Embracing biodiversity. Biodiversity is a key principle in regenerative farming small scale, and it holds true for small-scale operations as well. Embracing biodiversity on your small-scale regenerative farming small-scale farm can lead to a more resilient and balanced ecosystem. Monocropping, the practice of growing a single crop, can lead to soil degradation over time. Growing the same crop repeatedly in a field depletes specific nutrients from the soil, resulting in nutrient imbalances and reduced soil fertility. Monocropping also creates a favorable environment for pests and diseases. When a single crop is grown over a large area, it provides a continuous food source and habitat for specific pests and pathogens. This increases the risk of pest outbreaks and disease epidemics, requiring extensive pesticide and fungicide use to control them. With diversifying your crops and livestock, you can combat these and other issues. Consider planting native plants, creating hedgerows, or establishing wildlife habitats to attract beneficial insects, birds, and other wildlife. These diverse ecosystems help control pests, improve pollination, and enhance overall farm productivity. Additionally, introducing livestock species with diverse grazing preferences, such as chickens or ducks, can further contribute to the ecological balance and nutrient cycling on your small-scale regenerative farming small-scale farm. In conclusion, regenerative farming small-scale practices can be a win for the farmer and the environment. Through rotational grazing with small-scale animals, the incorporation of cover crops, composting, and embracing biodiversity, small-scale farmers can enhance soil health, promote sustainable forage production, and create a harmonious ecosystem. By adopting these regenerative farming small-scale practices, small-scale farmers can make a significant contribution to the overall movement towards a more sustainable and regenerative agricultural system. Lastly, on this channel, we share the latest industry news, research, and best practices for implementing regenerative farming practices. Kindly subscribe and press the bell notification icon to stay updated on exciting upcoming videos. Thank you for watching.